Hey guys, and welcome to another vlog from me. Still have no idea where I want to film. What are we, the 5th week of the year, the 4th week? I don't know, but I live in a pigsty, like I say when there's like only that behind me because I cleaned so much. I cleaned my refrigerator today, which was great, except I can't lift the trash bag to get it to the trash can, so I'm gonna have to wait. So I clearly have a trash bag sitting on my front porch. Yeah, so landscapers, I don't have landscapers, but who are at other people's houses, please don't judge me. But I really don't care. But I really want to find somewhere good to film. I see all these other people's videos and I'm like, why did they look so aesthetically pleasing? And why did my dog have to start barking the right time I started vlogging? It's so frustrating, and I am learning, even though I've been on YouTube for 10, 12 years. Yeah. It's a learning process, but let's talk about what I am reading. I feel like, am I too low? I don't know, but my short story collection is still Wilderness Tales, 40 Stories of the North American Wild, edited and with an introduction and commentary by Diana Fuss. This is all just short stories from literally the 1800s all the way to the modern day about how things that can happen in the wilderness. I'm currently on a section called Hunter and Hunted. I read the story Trails In by Sigurd Olsen today, which was published in 1933. He's a man who was president of the national parks, and I honestly, and this was one of his only works of fiction, I honestly didn't expect it to be how it was, that it was like at the point of view of deer. For somebody who's like a government official, I don't picture them writing at the point of view of animals, but it was very impactful. And I'm reading a short story every day when I wake up. Then my main pick, I finished my January TBR already, so this is just a book I picked up that is my 5-star prediction project, and I should be finishing it today, and that is Torch by Cheryl Strayed. This is about a family who the mother gets diagnosed with cancer, and the impact that has on her husband, her children, herself, her community, and how we all go through grief differently. And yeah, that's what I had to say about that one. Then my mood read, which is not going well for me, sadly, that is the CastleKeepers. This is 3 novellas. So the first one was by Amy K. Runyon, then the second, Janelle Cieleski, and then the last one, which I will be starting tonight, is by Rachel McMillan. This is following 3 women who all, I'm assuming, marry into the same family, who are very rich, noble family. Like one of the, like there's the royal family, then there's this family in England, and we had a plot line in 1870 about this girl who is American, and she is very disgraced for literally the stupidest thing in New York. And so she is a failure on the New York scene, so she goes to London to find a husband in London. And then we have our one in 1917. We have an artist, Elena, who is, she makes masks for men who were injured in the First World War. So if they had some kind of deformity on their face, she goes and makes a mask to cover that, and she is hired to make a mask for the heir of this castle. And then our last one, as I said, I haven't read it yet, but they are turning this castle into a rehabilitation center for soldiers coming back from the Second World War. Lastly, my ebook is A Breath of Snow and Ashes by Diana Gabaldon. This is the 6th book in the Outlander series, and this is just really leading us into the American Revolution in North Carolina. So those are all the books I'm reading. Again, I probably will finish Torch today, and the CastleKeepers I will finish this week. And then I do have my February TBR over here, and then the rest of my mood reading picks for the month, which is super exciting to just be reading. I love it. I love it so much. It's my biggest passion, and I've just had so much inspiration lately from watching other booktubers and talking about books with my friends, and I love everything about it and have been having such a good time with it in 2024, and I hope my vlogs can help encourage you to read or just do bookish things. Alright guys, so here's my outfit of the day. You can really just see my skirt, but this skirt is from Lulu's. The belt, it's vintage, and then let's pull that up. And here's my top, which is from Amazon, the drop. These are pretty much the same color, but in the sliding, it's kind of hard to tell. And then this necklace was a gift, but also vintage, just some pearls, my only pearls that I own. And so I just wanted to show y'all, but I have like 8 and everything, so my makeup is not perfect. And these are my new glasses. Looking in the mirror, I'm not sure how I feel about them. I am pretty nervous about them, if I'm being honest with y'all. Of just the look, it's just very different for me. I don't know if it fits my face shape, and I don't know about the black. I don't think I should have got black because they're just very ooh. And this is my first time having the blue light thing, because obviously I do work on a computer all day, and that can strain your eyes, but I didn't know you would actually see like a blue light on here, like it reflects blue. And I am not a cool tone person, so I do not like wearing colors like blue. So I am very hesitant about that. So if I get other glasses in the future, I don't think I will get the blue light thing. I'll just damage my eyes. I don't know if I want to do more damage to my eyes, since my eyes are already pretty bad as it is. But I don't know how I feel about these glasses, but I don't know if I want to write or if I want to edit a video. I really just don't know what I want to do. That's always my thing. I never know what I want to do with my life. Okay guys, we finished Torch by Cheryl Strayed, so I'm going to give my thoughts now. This was a 5-star prediction for me, but I ended up giving it a 3.5, which this is like the perfect 3.5. This is exactly what a 3.5 is. We're going to go just into the little details before I go into my thoughts. So 3 words to describe this book are emotional, long, and setting. Again, this is by Cheryl Strayed. This is in the contemporary genre. And as I said, it's a 3.5. I read it physically. It was published in 2005, and it took me 4 days to read. I started on the 25th and finished on the 29th, which, speaking of, I need to change my little calendar over here because I changed the day to the last day that I finished a book. Weird thing that I do. But let's go into my thoughts. So characters. The characters that I really enjoyed reading from were Teresa and Joshua. Teresa is the mother who gets the diagnosis, and Joshua is her teenage son. And Teresa, we don't have through this whole story. She does die. That's not a spoiler. It says in a lot of these blurbs that it is about losing a family member. But with Joshua, we really see he really developed a ton as a character. These are the most authentic characters that possibly I've ever read. I can't think of anyone more recently who I would say was more authentic than these characters. But Joshua, he's a teenager and his mom dies, and he doesn't necessarily go down the right route because he doesn't really have anyone there for him, because the stepfather, who is basically his dad, gets very depressed, is very emotionally cut off, and is doing his own thing, because in this book a huge theme is how we all cope with grief differently and loss differently. And then his sister Claire lives in the cities, so she is away at college, so he doesn't really have anybody. So he gets involved with the wrong crowd. Then his own personal relationships, like romantic relationships, he doesn't really have anybody, and his life turns upside down, and I thought he was a great character to follow. Then we'll talk about his sister Claire, who surprisingly was the character I felt the least connection with. She's the one I'm closest in age with and everything, and you would think that there would be some kind of connection for me there, but I really didn't feel anything for her. I really didn't like her, but I don't think she wasn't poorly written. It was just, when we go through something, we're not always going to be likable. We're not always going to be nice. and that was very much her thing. So I didn't really like her, and I didn't really care about her plot, so I don't know what that says. And then Bruce is their stepfather and Teresa's husband, and he, at first I didn't really care, but he grew on me a lot throughout. And again, I think he's a great guy, but you really see that grief can change a person, loss can change a person tremendously. The atmosphere I totally did not expect. It was so strong. I don't know if this was on the list of books that I read of 1,000 books that make up America. This would have been in that Midwestern section. I don't know. It's in Minnesota. And it was so strong. I could picture this town mid in Minnesota perfectly. And I don't know why it played such a huge part in this story, and just the Mississippi River and just the coldness and seasons changing. I love when the seasons change in real life, but I do love seeing it in writing, and it was just tremendous. The best part of the story, in my opinion. The writing is the downfall. I don't know how, because I have her other book, Wild, right there, and that was such a well-written nonfiction, but that doesn't always mean an author can transfer that to fiction, and that didn't happen here. At first, literally my first tab is, I like this. I like the language that is used, her way with words, but that got outweighed because this just went on. I'm like, there's too many words on the page. I don't know if she had to have a set amount of words to get this published or whatever. It was just too many words and got too long. And it's only 322 pages, so not even that long of a book, but it was a chore to get through. It took me 4 days, which usually takes me around 3 days to finish a book, so it only added a day, which isn't that bad. And then the plot, again, I think it's a great plot of how we all go through grief. We cope through things differently. Loss can transform us as a person in bad and good ways. And last, intrigue, I gave that a 3. It was a chore for me to get through because of the writing style. Logic, I do think the logic was very well done because of how it dealt with these topics. And enjoyment, it felt like a 3-star to me, so I gave the enjoyment a 3, and this ended up being a 3.5 when I originally predicted it to be a 5. So at 7, it is currently 6:42. I will be starting The Employee by Olga Ravin. This is translated by Martin Aitken. I said it wrong in my haul video and I feel really bad. But Ben got me this book and I'm going to be starting it, as I said. So I'm just going to read y'all the description. This is very short. It's 125 pages, so 200 pages shorter than this one. And it is science fiction, so perfect way to end January. Shortlisted for the International Booker Prize, The Employees reshuffles a sci-fi voyage into a righteously original existential nightmare. Aboard the interstellar 6000 ship, the human and humanoid crew members complain about their daily tasks in a series of staff reports and memos. When the ship takes on a number of strange objects from the planet New Discovery, the crew becomes deeply attached to them, even as tensions boil towards mutiny, especially among the humanoids. In chilling, crackling, and exhilarating prose, The Employees probes into what makes us human, while delivering a hilariously stinging critique of life governed by the logic of productivity. I love stories about what makes us human, and y'all know I love the Booker Prize, but I don't think I've read any from the international list, so this should be fun. This is coming from Denmark, by the way, and I don't know if I've read any Danish fiction. A lot of my favorite people are from Denmark, like actors and athletes, musicians, so Denmark is a fun place in my mind. I was going to travel there like 10 years ago, but that I ended up going to the UK instead, but hopefully Denmark one day I will get to you. But I will be starting this in about 15 minutes. I'm going to write my review for Torch now and then jump into The Employees. This is told in a file format. I don't know if audio is the way to go, but I'm going to read it physically. I just say because other books I've read in that format, I've done audio, so hopefully I still enjoy it reading it physically. And this is the bookmark that I used for Torch. I got this in like LitJoy crate years ago. I think it's a Strange the Dreamer one. It says, I turned my nightmares into fireflies and caught them in a jar, which this is a Laini Taylor quote, but I will see y'all later. fun times before I go eat dinner. I read 50 pages in The Employees, which is 36% of the book. So I do want to get my thoughts so far. Honestly, I might be dumb. I don't know if this is going over my head or not. I find it really fascinating how so we have humans and then we have humanoids who are essentially AI, but you know those robots, was it like Sophia the robot who was from like Dubai and she was blonde? I'm seeing the robot in my mind, but so they look just like humans. One, they even said smelt like a human, and they have emotions and all of this. So it's the divide between these two of human and humanoid. And I'm finding that really intriguing and it has me thinking a lot of what really does make us a human. I was like, is it free will? Not sure, because some people don't even believe free will is a thing. But with these AI, they love what they do. They love the work that they do. When with a human, it's like, it's a job. You have to have a job. You have to survive. You have to work to get food and have a roof over your head and all of that kind of thing. And so the difference in that of one loves to work and then one is just like, gotta do what you gotta do. Because this is kind of a satire on the modern workplace, even though this is in the 22nd century. But I have heard that this is a satire, and definitely, it's the way the characters talk is so human, even though some of them aren't even human, but they just talk so much like real people talk. And sometimes I read books and the characters are so pretentious, and I'm like, nobody actually talks like this. But with The Employees, people do talk like this. Atmosphere in these kind of stories where it's like files, that doesn't play a huge role in it. We're not on Earth, but y'all know that we're on a spaceship. And then writing, as I said, dialogue, great. I mean, it's all dialogue in a sense, but sometimes it does get a little much for me to read. But it's real, like right now, I'm kind of rambling. Just sometimes these characters will start rambling and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, yeah, the plot of the themes of what makes us human and why do we have to work? It is, again, I will always go back to, is that book on the shelf? No. What is it called? The Homo Sapiens one by Yuval Noah Harari. Middle name might be wrong there, but how everything is basically a man-made concept. The United States is a man-made concept. And like money is a man-made concept, so working is also a man-made concept. We just do it, but we don't really have to, like, we could do what we want to. I don't know, it's like I do, but that is such a big discussion to get into. So this book is making me think a lot, and I am appreciating that. I will read the file that just really made me emotional, kind of. It's statement 018. The dreams are something you've given me so that I'll always feel longing and never think a harsh word about you, my gods. Okay, interesting is, so it's the AI having dreams. And we make these people, because these AI want to be humans sometimes in some of these, so we put the thoughts in their heads. So interesting. All I want is to be assimilated into a collective human community where someone braids my hair with flowers and white curtains sway in a warm breeze, where every morning I wake up and drink a glass of chilled iced tea, drive a car across a continent, kick the dirt, fill my nostrils with the air of the desert, and move in with someone, get married, bake cookies, push a stroller, learn to play an instrument, dance a waltz. I think I've seen all this in your educational material. Is that right? What are cookies? And that one, I really like that one. So that's all I'm going to read in there today. I will begin into the CastleKeepers at 9. It's currently around 7:30, so I'm gonna go eat leftover lasagna, and then I made those little like Red Lobster biscuits. I finally found the ones that are frozen and you don't have to cook at all. You just put them in the oven. I do think the ones that you make yourselves are better, but these are still good. Yeah, so I'm gonna go eat. I am now a quarter of the way according to Storygraph and the Kindle app. To Goodreads, it's 10% behind. I don't know why, but I'm 26% into A Breath of Snow and Ashes. As this is the 6th book in a series, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I did want to give you all my thoughts so far. The book is a lot more logical than the TV show. The TV show, I mean, it's TV. It went very much for the dramatics, and something I found interesting is that the plot of the book is not in the same order as the TV show. The TV show moved different plot points around, which I think is really interesting. Again, I think on the TV show they made it a lot more dramatic, and the flow of the book just flows better and flows more logically, and I am a fan of logic when reading, so I do appreciate that. Okay, the next point that I'm making is kind of spoilery, so there's going to be a trigger warning for sexual assault, so if you do not want to hear about spoilers or that trigger warning, look down next to the time. There are the timestamps, skip to the next one so you don't get spoiled or triggered. So in the previous chapter, Claire was gang raped by a bunch of men who kidnapped her, and because they wanted to know where this whiskey was being kept so that, you know, they could take it and steal or sell it. And because it's her family who, her son is the one who runs the distillery or whatever. And so the whole first half of the chapter was 30 pages. The first half, they're like, what's Jamie gonna do about this? And it was all just it never said exactly what the characters were talking about. And I'm like, do they mean divorce her or like make her, because they're also, mind you, they're in their 50s, so I don't know why they're so afraid of her getting pregnant, because the chances are just so slim at that, but so I don't know, but they kept bringing it up, so I don't know if maybe they meant abortion. I'm really confused. Like, they were just beating around the bush. They never said directly what they thought he might do, so I'm still really confused. And then the other thing, so as I said, she was gang raped, comes home that day and has sex, and I'm like, I just don't think, some people might, I don't know, people, as we talked about with Torch, people deal with trauma in a lot of different ways, but I don't really think that's extremely realistic. And it's been talked about a lot that the author uses rape as a plot device a ton. Now, these books did come out like over 20 years ago, and obviously a lot has changed. Yeah, this was published in 2005, so 19 years ago. And a lot has definitely changed in our culture and how we portray things like that. But definitely, it's in the book a ton. The whole family's been raped. I'm not even exaggerating. The whole family, like the first 2 generations we see, which is awful. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about that, but I do really enjoy just a slice of life and seeing what life is like in this time period, and the time travel intrigues me so much. But I will see y'all tomorrow on Tuesday.
Focus. I want to show you other. Can you please focus?
Hey guys, it is Tuesday. I am back to reading outside. I probably should have put my sunglasses on because the sun is right on me, but it is in the 60s today, on the colder side of 60 when the wind blows, but it's still in the 60s. I will take what I can get, but I did need to put on long sleeves, put on a hoodie. I'm having a great hair day, but who knows what this wind is all gonna do again. These are dog treats, but I'm gonna be reading The Employees. I read a short story by William Faulkner today, who I didn't realize was from Mississippi. I thought he was from England or somewhere when I would hear that name. I was completely wrong. But I am gonna get into reading, and I should finish this book today. I don't know how many pages I'm gonna read in a sprint, because last night I was doing 25 pages, so I got 50 pages read, and so I don't know if I'm gonna do that again or lower that number to like 10 pages. Sorry to hear my dog coughing. Does she have water? Yeah, she has water. But I'm going to be getting into The Employees now. What happens after she finishes the treat? Oh, okay. My shoes are still out there. I started doing lunches in between chapters, and she started eating my pants. Guys, How do you make a dog not do that? I tried to say all her commands. She wouldn't listen. So if you have tips, let me know. I always do clothing hauls, but I never really show y'all what I unhaul because I do unhaul pieces. I've unhauled, I think 2 out of my winter capsule wardrobe. I unhauled a bluish green sweater that I had. It was just too cool tone for my skin, and then a pair of sweatpants that I got on Black Friday that they were too low rise and I didn't really like that, even though I did get compliments on them and I do love the color of them. I just didn't like the fit of them. So I am getting rid of this top, which is such a nice material. I got this on Amazon and it does fit, but I don't have a lot of style, like I don't have a lot of ideas with it, and I don't know about this color. Let me know, what do y'all think of that color? So I am going to be unhauling it because I just don't have ideas with it. Then I do have this nice Aritzia bodysuit. This was just too small. It was so hard to get off of me. I thought I was going to have to cut it. So just an Aritzia bodysuit here. So they're both the same, kind of like, I don't know what that material is. There's probably a tag that tells you if I can find it. And this has like that on it. So I don't know, it's not fancy. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah, this is 2X, which is my usual size, 2 extra small, but it was too small. And I know, oh, these are my clothes. I thought he went in there. So I'm just getting some clothes. So what I added to my wardrobe to the capsule is this top I got at Brandy Melville. It's like a thermal olive green color. Or kind of a khaki too, but I really like this color. And again, I always recommend Brandy Melville because everything except their jeans really is made in a first world country. So, you know, good environments for people to work in. And then I did add this one as well. I got this top for Christmas, or more of a blouse. I really like this color. Look at how the sleeves are kind of cinched, and it is a button down. So hopefully I do like this, how it's styled, because sometimes I think it makes me look too masculine, and I don't like, that is one of my things I hate. I always end up looking masculine, and I don't like masculine style. It's just not for me. And that's one thing I feel like in the clips outside, I was like, I look like an old man with these glasses. So I don't think these glasses were a hit for me. Hailey Bieber, I'm sorry. Maybe I need to have her kind of facial structure, but I don't know. The blue light thing is what really bothers me the most, because I feel like it's so distracting looking at, because even looking in the mirror, I see that and I'm like, why? So I'm never gonna get blue light in my glasses again, but I am going to unhaul these, and I need to find another top to put in here. While I'm at it, I'm going to hang this jacket in there, or this coat, and this is the bodysuit that I'm going to be putting in, that I got at Lulu's back in the fall. Incoming rant, they do not make being an influencer, I don't even think I'm an influencer, but being somebody who records themselves accessible for people with glasses. I got a ring light tripod, and like, we're doing it with no glasses. So I'm gonna be very much looking in at things. I'm sorry. But I finished, oh my gosh. Y'all fell. Are we good? Are y'all good? But I finished the employees. Hold on. I just try to make these vlogs better, but I think I end up wasting my money because the camera cannot fit on here if you want to have the ring light on. You can only have it, this is where your phone goes. And I tried to get the camera to fit in there. That wasn't going to work. So then I tried to see, but the light is hooked on the part of the tripod that the camera would hook on. So I do not know the logic there. I don't think there is any. This one had good reviews, but I hate the light on my glasses. Why do I have to be blind? I hate it. I honestly hate being blind. But let's talk about the employees with no glasses. So who knows if you can even see me on the camera. I hope that you can. But I gave this a 3.5, so that's a 4-star on Goodreads, and then on Storygraph, I can put it in as a 3.5. Let's go into this thing here. Again, I have to look very close. So the title is The Employees. It is by Olga Ravin. It is sci-fi, and then I did give it a 3.5. So to describe this book in 3 words, I used thoughtful, human, and realistic. I read this physically, and it was published in 2020 in the English version. And then I read this book from the 29th to the 30th. So yes, we do need to change our calendar here. Let's see if I can, do it. There we go. I don't know if you can see my calendar in the back or not, but let's go into my thoughts. So characters, you don't have characters in the traditional sense. You have these people who are not, do we even want to call them people? Some are AI and some are actual humans, but who are not characters in the traditional sense. They are people who are going on the record, putting statements out to their company. And so we are just reading those statements. I do think this could possibly get a higher rating if you do it in the audio format. But I just thought the discussions of these characters was so interesting, because when you're reading a statement, just starting out a statement, you don't know if it's a human or a humanoid given the statement. Just saying, there's not a huge difference in what makes the AI person and an actual human. And I love that portrayal that you don't know until they, explicitly say, I am a human or I am a humanoid, of just how similar they are. I thought that was super interesting. So that was one of my character tabs. And the other one was how they both feel sorry for one another. I thought was super interesting how the humans feel kind of sorry because these things are just made to work. We made them. They were created but not born. They don't have a soul necessarily. But then the AI feel bad for humans because humans aren't going to be here forever. Humans die. When AI can go on and evolve, get new software updates. But the humans aren't. Where we have our set date, we have that hyphen that we live, and that's that. Atmosphere, I gave a 2-star. It played no real big part in this. We are in a spaceship, and then I was like, what if they think they're in a spaceship but they're not? I don't know, because I thought of one of my other favorite books where that's a thing. I'm not going to say which book because that's a major spoiler. But the author was inspired to write this story by an art exhibit that she saw. I have seen like one picture but didn't really read into it, so maybe if I would have read into that, that would have helped me picture the story better. The writing got a 4-star. I did really love the writing, except for those parts that did get rambling. Those made my mind wander a lot, so I wasn't really focusing on the book, but that is extremely realistic to how a human, again, a humanoid can talk like a human, but I do think the humanoids might be more straightforward. That would have to be something I see on reread. But as people, we ramble a lot. You can watch this vlog as an example. I love to ramble, like I was just rambling about lighting and cameras and glasses and being on the internet. Yes, we ramble a lot, so it's extremely realistic in that sense. So then we have plot. The plot gets a 5-star. The plot was the highlight. But I'm saying plot when I mean the themes presented of what makes us human. And then the workplace is that really should humans be working like that? And then there's always that discussion of should, for those like essential jobs like store clerks and all that, should we just have AI doing that? And in a sense we kind of do, because not every time I go to Target, but the majority of the time at Target I use self-checkout. There is somebody who is there to help you with the self-checkout if something happens, but I am doing my own groceries and working the machine, and the machine is scanning it and all that, not a human. So a lot of people are like, what happens if we don't have humans anymore. Another place, Shake Shack, when you go to place your order inside, you do it all on an iPad. You're not telling somebody, I would like this kind of cheeseburger, I want fries or a Coke. No, you are telling an iPad that. And that is only, like in the last 10 years, that's been a big discussion, is do we need humans working in businesses? I don't know. This book gives me a ton to think about of what makes us human, and what how far should AI advance. And there okay, well, first we'll go through the rest of this. So intrigue I gave a 4 because I was really curious of what was going to happen, but logic I did give a 3, or did I give it a 2? Logic I gave a 2, yeah. So logic, my thing is, I don't really know what was happening in the story, because as I said, I talked about the themes of plot, but I didn't talk about the plot itself. I don't know what the plot was. Yes, they were collecting objects, and then the humanoids got really attached to these objects, but I don't know what the objects were. I don't know, like, I don't know anything that was actually happening. I'm still really confused, but I love the themes that were presented. And then enjoyment, this felt like a 4-star to me, and obviously it did end up being 3.5, which is rounded up to a 4-star. I do want to read just some of the tabs that I put in here today. So is this my first one? Yes. So, can we love AI? Is that a thing? Because they obviously have strong opinions of each other, and yeah, can we love it? Can we fall in love with it? Which we do see in Star Wars, people fall in love with robots. Yeah, but that's a different thing, because these are ones that look just like humans. You can barely tell the difference. So I mean, I don't know, is that right? I know sex bots are a thing, we're not gonna get into that, but yeah, okay. And then what was it made to look, okay, was the AI made to look human for us to think of it as human, and maybe make us trust it more? And then that made me start thinking, because I talked about Sophia the robot or whatever, why do they have to look human? Why can't they just be like R2-D2, a little rolling trash can? Sorry, but is it so we feel compassion towards them? Is it because we will trust them more and trust what they're saying, what they're doing to help us? Interesting. And then with the AI, when it gets to this point of where they look just like humans, do we treat them like other humans? Do we treat them like animals? Are they slaves? There's a lot that goes into it. It's so interesting to, when we get to this point, how the politics decide. And there was another quote that says, actually, should I read this whole thing? I don't know, there might be spoilers. But I look out at the endless deep outside, the panorama windows. I see a sun. I burn the way the sun burns. I know without a doubt that I'm real. I may have been made, but now I'm making myself. And obviously that's an AI talking, but I think, so God did, in my opinion, make us. Somebody made you. And I mean, even you can go to, obviously you had to be like conceived and all of that. So like your parents made you. So that is your physical being made, your physical body being made. But we make our lives for ourselves. We make the choices that we make. Therefore we make ourselves. I thought that was super cool. And then I tabbed how we both feel sorry for each other, humans and the AI. So I did really enjoy my time reading this. It was very thought-provoking. I didn't know if that was one word, so I put thoughtful as for my 3 words, as one of my 3 words. Very reflective, and I'm going to be thinking about this and its themes a lot. So definitely for themes and all, I recommend picking up The Employee by Olga Ravin. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name there. So what am I going to read next? We are just going to stick with the CastleKeepers and try to finish that before the month ends, and then go into my February TBR, obviously on February. But I do want to show y'all the bookmark that I used. I'm going to put my glasses on now to make sure it focuses. So I just used this Book of the Month bookmark, and it has a quote by Victor Hugo on the back that says, "To learn to read is to light a fire. Every syllable that is spelled out is a spark." And I got this in June 2019. I got back from Target a little while ago. It's not nighttime. I don't know why I have the light on. We don't need that on. But I got back from Target a little while ago, and I did get one more of those you know, my TBR cards that I'm doing. It is kind of dark, I don't know. But I also got some Drano and dental brushes, you know, the goods. And I did get this really nice dress that I love. I love the color, and I think it's like, look, I'm shining without it too. But this dress that is going to be perfect for the springtime. Is this a romper? No, okay, it just kind of looked like it by how I was holding it. So we got the goods. So I'm going to go work on this TBR card thing. I've really been cleaning this room, so you know when you clean, junk gets everywhere, just in little piles of stuff to give away, stuff to keep, stuff to throw out. Yes, so we're going to be focusing on nonfiction, and this drawer is a little bit different. They didn't have any more of those clear ones, so I'm glad it's not going to be stacked. And hold on, Fred wants to leave. Okay, so I got these. These are more expensive, literally just because they're colored and not clear. Only $7 more, but should I do this? Why? I see people do like that, but like, I shouldn't have done this. I messed up big time. Why did I do that to myself? But let's get to seeing what nonfiction books I have. I have a chip in my throat. I might need to go get a drink. I must have accidentally taken this off my shelf because I've read this book already and I loved it, so I highly recommend The Long Prison Journey of Leslie Van Houten by Harleen Faith. So this whole container is nonfiction. I definitely recommend the clear. I just think they're a lot sturdier because it's like kept falling in because the weight was so much, I guess. So maybe try to do paperbacks on top. I just really had these in the order that I purchased them in. So I do have some on the sides, and then I do have the 3 stacks in the middle. See, it fell right out. So I'm gonna have to pause and get this back in there. Hold on. Okay, our last one. Should be easier to show you. This one, there were no books I could fit in that. So again, paperbacks would be ideal. So don't really recommend this one from, I guess that brand, but it was by Threshold. So I'm just going to put the rest of my nonfictions up here, which isn't that many books. And that will be all for today. And then I will get one more of these containers to put my sci-fi and romance in. Let's see. I don't know how many books there are going to be. This is so hard filming and doing this. Oh gosh, that was scary. It's kind of crooked. I'm not sure why. Again, I do not recommend these, but I'm gonna have to get another one because they don't have any more of those. Hopefully they do have more of those next week, but at the moment they were sold out. So this is a history of Milan under the Sforza, the library book Founding Mothers, The Black Dahlia, Tip and Run, South to America, The Last King of America, The Woman in Me, and The Kazakhstan Way. There's the nonfiction. All my nonfiction is in here. This is all one genre. So, I mean, that whole top one is all historical fiction. And some of that bottom's historical fiction, but we're not talking about that. And then all of this is nonfiction. So my two main genres, I definitely do need to read more nonfiction since I own so much of it. And I am intrigued by it a lot. So there's that. But we do have a few more stacks. So those are books for videos. They're not going in any of these things. And I'm looking at that. Oh yeah, I did take books out of that one the other day of that because I had room on a bookshelf, so I was able to put books because I was like, there's room in there. We have one sci-fi book, literally only one. Then I have thrillers in this stack. These are thrillers as well, but the stack got too big. And then romance books. These are mass market books I took from my grandma that are all like in the middle of the series. And I'm like, that's why she can never get through a book. Because she buys them used and doesn't realize they're in the middle of a series. So that's why they need to go back to putting numbers on books, because I've made the same mistake where I will buy a book and not realize that it's in the middle of a series until I put it in on Goodreads on my phone. And then you have my grandma who does not have Goodreads and will just start reading and be like, what is happening here? Okay, and then these are all my ones that can be mood reads. We made such a big turn just then. Except these stacks. This is historical fiction and this is literary. But these can be mood reads and will go in my reading basket once I get more room in there. That is updated every 6 months. And that's again with these. I am going to be updating every 6 months because I will have stacks of obviously books that I've hauled. Like those two that once, because as you can see, room has cleared out in these because these books will gradually move to shelves. As shelf space comes on, like you can see I have on my sci-fi shelf, I have room right there. So it is just an ever-going process of we are going to be moving these to shelves, stacks to these, and that is how it works out. I don't know if I showed how I added, let me shine the light over here. These were gifts. I know Sarah got me this one. Sarah, did you get me this or did my dad get me this? Somebody got me Baby Yoda. I'm sorry, that's a rock right there. Then this, my grandma got me this elephant that is, is that Hindu? I don't know, but she got me that. This is just a little dog from The Secret Life of Pets that I bought at Target. And then this I got at Stonehenge. And the guy there, he was so excited about me getting this. And honestly, the people who work at tourist sites in England are so passionate about what they're doing. And I'm calling Stonehenge a tourist site. It's a tourist site, but you know what I mean. Like, it's been there for thousands of years. So it feels weird calling it a tourist site. Because here, a tourist site usually is Myrtle Beach, theme parks, aquariums, that kind of thing. So completely different here than it is there. But those were knickknacks I put on here. I'm sure I will put some on my nonfiction shelf as well. And then I did get my Leslie Van Houten book on my shelf, but all these Pokemon Funko Pops fell in the process, so let me get them standing back up. Stand up, please. Okay, so I don't even know what time it is. It's 5:38, so I will get back to reading in about 20 minutes in the one book. What book is it? I am blanking. The CastleKeepers. I will be getting back into that. Again, I'm sorry for the bad lighting in these clips. I don't know how to film. Like, on this wall, next week we will have good lighting because of where that will go. That bookshelf over there, I will move into our office space and then put in the last of the TBR carts, which that cart is going to have a lot of room in it because I don't think all these books that I showed y'all will take up a whole cart. I could get one of the smaller carts, but I'm just go big or go home, you know? Hey guys, I just finished reading the CastleKeepers, so I ended up giving this a 2.25. I don't recommend it. And let's look at these stats first. So the CastleKeepers is the title. There are multiple authors being Runyon, Ciscarelli, and Macmillan. It is historical fiction. I give it a 2.25. And I did that by each novella. What did I rate each novella? So the first novella was a 2.25. The second one, 1.75, and the last one, a 3. My 3 words to describe it are Mary Sue, repetitive and lacking. I read this physically. It was published in 2023, and I read it from the 22nd to the 31st of January. So let's go into my thoughts. I went into a lot of them yesterday, but I'll just do it again. So characters, as I said, the characters were Mary Sue's, I think, caricature. I don't even know how to say that word, but the women were Mary Sue's, not like other girls. The men were heroes, and the parents were, like, the guys all had issues with their parents, and the villains were just villains for the sake of being villains. Like, they didn't really have enough backing to make it believable. The atmosphere, I thought, could have played so much more, as it seems so prevalent by the cover of the book, the description of the book, but it was just lacking. The writing was fine. I had nothing wrong with the writing. And then the plot did get repetitive after a while, because it was all the guys falling in love with girls that they shouldn't, and they all are like, this castle's so haunted, I went to war, I'm haunted now, and do I really want to have a castle? Like, they all had that arc, and so it was just repetitive, and I wouldn't recommend the CastleKeepers. So I have finished all the books that I'm going to finish in the month of January. I'm going to film a short TikTok, reel, whatever site you're going to see it on, and giving 3 words to describe each book that I finished in the month of January. And then I'm gonna, well, first I am gonna write my book review for the CastleKeepers, then do that, and then I'm gonna jump on here and kind of do a wrap up for y'all for the month of January. I did mean to show y'all the book that I'll be starting tomorrow for my mood read, and that is Mustique Island by Sarah McCoy, but we'll go into the details of that book tomorrow. And then we do start my February Tea Bear tomorrow. Again, we'll go into details tomorrow. Okay, so since this is kind of a reset video, I do want to show you what I do once I finish my books at the end of the month. I go through all of them and sort them between unhaul and keep, so I'm going to do that right now. I am going to be unhauling 3 books, The CastleKeepers, 1632, and Mary Jane. I'm keeping a lot more this month because I did annotate books, and I don't donate books that I annotate because annotations are so personal to me. So next to ones that I keep, I am going to put my stamp in, so if I ever lose these books or something, or if I lend them out, the person knows who to return it to. Once I stamp it, I put it on the shelf. So some books are going to take it off the shelf, are going to be put in stacks. We talked all about that earlier. So there it goes on the shelf. I'm going to do my wrap up for y'all because I did finish reading for the day in Outlander. So I read like 111 pages today. I think that that's irrelevant to what we are talking about. So I read 12 books in total this month, or more so finished 12 books in total. My favorite was Migrations, and my least favorite was 1632. Was that the title? 1532? I don't remember. My new favorite character, which to me, it's kind of hard. I've never had to answer that question, so I'm reading what's in my bullet journal. I'm going to say Rachel for Milkfed, just because she was so relatable, but also I loved the characters in Migrations and Torch. Then new to me authors, there were multiple of them. I think all of these, Cheryl Strayed wasn't new, and Jeff Vandermeer wasn't new. So the majority of these were new to me authors. And then pages read was 5,277, and I hauled 12 books in the month of January. So flipping over to February in the journal now, which is crazy. Which I did change what book I'm reading first, so I do need to do some edits on here, so I'm going to do that after I film this, because just, yeah, I have to do some edits in my reading journal of my reading schedule. But I do want to show y'all, or tell y'all my stats from Storygraph this month. I read 12 books, which according to Storygraph was 5,303 pages, but from my actual counting pages and books is what I said earlier. My 3 biggest moods were adventurous, emotional, and mysterious. For pace, I mainly read medium-paced books, which was at 55%. 27% of the books were fast, and 18% were slow. For page number, the majority of the books I read were 300 to 499 pages, with that being 58% of my reading. Then less than 300 pages was 25% of my reading, and 17% of my reading was over 500 pages. Everything I read this month was fiction, so that's 100% fiction. And then for genres, my top 3 were science fiction, literary, and dystopian. And then I read some historical, LGBTQIA+, thriller, romance, horror, fantasy, and contemporary. As for format, I read 3,511 pages and listened to 41 hours and 17 minutes of audiobook. So for 67% of the books I read were in print, whereas digital was 17% and audio was 17%. I wrote 12 reviews this month, and my average rating was a 3.08, so it was a pretty average reading month. These books were fine. The majority of the books I gave a 2.25 or a 4-star, so I either loved you or you did nothing for me. And then pages, my biggest reading was between the 9th and 12th, and my least was between the 24th and 27th. But yeah, there's the January wrap up. Next time I see y'all, it will be February. January, that's my calendar right there. It took forever to get through. I don't know why January is only so long, but then we do have a leap year this year in 2024, so February is getting an extra day, but it will still be shorter than January was. It's crazy how time works. I know. So I'm gonna get to editing around in this, then I'm gonna get a bath, and I was like, I'm gonna edit my ASMR video, but I'm like, no, it's Wednesday. I do my editing on Thursday, so I will just go back to watching the Netflix NASCAR documentary, and I will probably finish it tonight and give y'all all my final thoughts on it tomorrow. We're going to get to vlogging for the day. So I did do my February spread in my reading journal. So just kind of a Victorian Valentine's, and then just a few cutesy winter things. I know I've lost 3 nails already. This is my first time wearing fake nails in years, and I didn't do enough glue. So I'm just gonna paint them this pink color once they fall off. That's what we're doing. So that's my February now, at least for the first half of the month. And I did want to talk about what I'm reading. That's why we're here. So I started a new section in Wilderness Tales today. Yes, I'm still reading this in February, but I should also be finishing this in February. The story yesterday was by one of my favorite authors. I say he's one of my favorite authors, and I've only read one of his books, but it was just so good, Anthony Dower. And this one was called The Hunter's Wife, and I loved the symbolism in it of kind of the woman was being hunted rather than an animal, because you know when you go after somebody, and in this case, not in a good way, he was grooming her, and how it's a hunt in a sense, and she is a magician. So our next section in here is myth and magic. So I thought that was a perfect transitional piece. So the one I read today was The King of the Polar Bears, which was published in 1901 by L. Frank Baum, and that was basically in retaliation to polar bears being killed for their fur. That was a big thing back in that time period of, you know, people would wear polar bear fur, and this was like saying, hey, you shouldn't do that. Okay, so then my next book, I know I have this on here because I do have to film my February TBR video later, but this is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. We are focusing on reading romance this month, so let me tell y'all the description of this book. I wanted to lose myself in the small town of Pelion, Maine, to forget everything I had left behind. The sound of rain, the blood, the coldness of a gun against my skin. For 6 months, each breath has been a reminder that I survived and my dad didn't. I'm almost safe again, but the moment I meet Archer Hill, my entire world tilts on its axis and never rights itself again. Until I trespass into his strange, silent, and isolated world, Archer communicates with no one. Yet in his whiskey-colored eyes, something intangible happens between us. There's so much more to him than just his beauty, his presence, or the ways His hands communicate with me, own me. But this town is mired in secrets and betrayals, and Archer is the explosive center of it all. So much passion and so much hurt, but it's in Archer's silence that we might just find what we need to heal and to live. Everybody on Goodreads has given this a 5 or 4 stars, so everybody has loved it, so hopefully I end up loving it. I found out this book through Jamie. It's her channel, Jamie's Library, but she read it and really enjoyed it, so I went and got a secondhand copy on eBay, and the seller gave me this awesome bookmark that is really cool, especially if you're a one bookmark kind of person, which I'm not, but it's still really creative and cool. I don't know if they made them themselves. So I did all that, and then I have my April TBR together, which I know is so random, but I do prepare my TBRs ahead of time, so I just have it here to write in my reading journal what the TBR is going to be for April. Since I finished January, that's why I made the next month that needed to be made. But I am going to read outside because it is in the 60s today. And then also for the Teresa, we will be going to Barnes & Noble in about an hour. I just have to get dressed and do my hair. It just means brush my hair. So we are going to go book shopping. I have a list of books I want, and it should be fun. I totally meant to show this icon at Barnes & Noble, and I remembered my bag this time. So I basically have a list of books on Amazon that I want to buy because I didn't have anywhere else to put a list. So I just put them on an Amazon cart, even though I'm not buying them on Amazon. So we're gonna look and see if I can find them. Guys, it is so chaotic over here. So I got back from the mall a while ago, and I finished reading Archer's Voice for the day, so I have a lot of updates for you guys, and we're gonna start with my book haul. The first day of the month, and then the day that I finish my TBR of the month is only so busy. I've just been so busy today. But this is my book haul. Basically, I told y'all how I made an Amazon list. I hope you can hear me in that clip. I finally cleaned the microphone on my phone, but I don't think it's going to be good enough, so we'll just have to see. And if it still isn't, I'm gonna post on Reddit, and hopefully people can tell me what I should do. But I don't have my hopes out high, because I feel like going on those tech communities, they're just like really like sexist in a way with how they treat you. They kind of treat you like you're dumb if you don't know. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about technology. Yeah, I'm not an engineer or anything. But I put a list on my phone on the Amazon app. So it was my Amazon cart, but I wasn't going to buy these books on Amazon. I just wanted to have a place where I could see the cover of the book and the name of the book, so it would be easy to find in store. And that worked very well. So there were 11 books on that list, and I purchased 4 of them because I am allowed to buy 12 books this month. These are the 4. So the first one I got is Where the Line Bleeds by Jasmine Ward. This is the first book she ever published, because a lot of her books, if not all, take place in the same universe, or there's Easter eggs to her other books. So I want to start with her first book. So I already have like 3 of her books because they all just sound so intriguing. So we got that one. And then I got a poetry collection, which is The Witch Doesn't Burn, and this one by Amanda Lovelace, who is a very popular modern poet for like social media kind of poetry. And I saw this on the Barnes & Noble's Instagram that I went to in Indianapolis. I don't remember exactly what the store is called, but it was in Indianapolis, and they had this on there, and I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so good, I'm gonna buy it. Also, when I went to Indianapolis, there were no indie books. There were no independently owned bookstores or used bookstores in like northern Indianapolis. Sorry, my dog. But there were none there. So I had to go to Barnes & Noble. I did go to Goodwill. I didn't find any books at Goodwill, but that was so odd because there are some, I think, in like downtown Indy, but this was Memorial Day weekend, and they have I think it's 2nd or 3rd biggest parade in the United States. And I was not gonna get into all that. But So that's besides the point. Then I got My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. This is a horror book. This was on a lot of people's favorite books of 2023. And I've read 2 of his other books and really enjoyed them. So my hopes are high for this one because of how much praise it gets. And lastly, I got one that some people love, some people hate, and that is The Pisces by Melissa Broder, because I did love Milk Fed, which I read last month. So I wanted to pick up more of her work. Okay, so then I can update y'all on Archer's Voice. Let me take off my little sticky note there. I am 33% according to Goodreads, 34% on Storygraph, and I am loving this. This is definitely 4-star range. I don't think it's going to be a 5-star, but definitely in the 4-star category. I am loving it, and I have like a whole page of notes to talk to y'all about. No, I did not mean to do all in the pen and the purple color, but I got carried away. So my notes. This is given Lucy Score vibes. I don't know if it's because the setting or what, or the writing style, and also this book is 10 years old. I didn't realize it's been published for so long. But it is a small town, but it's like one of those towns. I have towns in mind. You know how we went to y'all didn't go to Calabash with me. I didn't vlog it. But one of those towns that is like a touristy town, so it has its off season. But right now we're in summertime, we're in August time, so there is, you know, tourists there. So it's a very popular like tourist destination, and then when the tourist season is over, it's just your small town vibe. So I don't know if that's why it's gonna be the Lucy Score vibe, since it is a small town. But there's good, very clear imagery. It's really easy to picture. The author does a good job at setting the scene. And then there's a nostalgic feel to it. It is good at getting the emotions of the characters across. I don't know if it's just nostalgic in general, but Bree, our main female lead, used to come to this town on vacation with her family. So she does feel nostalgia. So I don't know if I'm just feeling nostalgic because she's feeling nostalgia. So nevertheless, the author did a great job at getting the characters' emotions across. My one issue is we were bombarded by characters because she's new to this town and is meeting everybody, so we're getting everybody in her face. And in that same chapter, we have her friends from back home calling her, being like, oh my gosh, are you okay? So-and-so misses you, so-and-so misses you. So it was so many names to take in at once. So I did end up writing all the names, what their roles are, like male lead, female lead, landlord, dog, older lady, neighbor. I had to write down a chart of that. So that is my issue with this. I get a lot of the side characters confused, hence I had to make a chart. And then Travis, can we get a book about him? Because, okay, I love reading about bad boys. I don't necessarily go for that in real life. That's not my type, but I love reading about it. But he is a bit of a jerk to his cousin. So this one is plot related that I don't want to say because it's spoilery. And then I don't know what trope to tell y'all this is going to be. I still don't know. I do think we might have a love triangle, which I'm not a huge love triangle person, but if it's done properly, then I'm fine with it. But yeah, I don't understand why Bree is going towards this one character, because she's been warned so much about him by her like friends in the town. I'm like, why are you going for him? But the characters are very three-dimensional, which is fantastic. We love that. And there's just so much like depth to them. We have backstories for each of our characters, and I only think that is so important, because if I can't connect with the character, I'm not going to care for the book. That's all my updates, at least that I can think of. But I will be back later because we need to start my mood read. Hey guys, it's freezing. I had ice cream, so I'm cold, but I'm happy. So I wanted to tell y'all about the mood read that I'm about to start. I told y'all the name in the last night, but I do want to tell y'all the description. So this is Mustique Island by Sarah McCoy. It's January 1972, but the sun is white hot when Willie Mae Michaels' boat first kisses the dock of Mustique Island. Tucked into the southernmost curve of the Caribbean, Mustique is a private island that has become a haven for the wealthy and privileged. Its owner is the eccentric British playboy Colin Tennant, who is determined to turn this speck of white sand into a luxurious neo-colonial retreat for his rich friends, into a royal court in exile for the Queen's rebellious sister, Prince Margaret, love her, one where Her Royal Highness can skinny dip, party, and entertain lovers away from the public eye. Willie Mae, a former beauty queen from Texas, who is also no stranger to marital scandals, seeks out Mustique for its peaceful isolation. Determined to rebuild her life and her relationships with her two daughters, Hilly, a model, and Joanne, a musician, she constructs a fanciful beach house across the island from Princess Margaret and finds herself pulled into the island's inner circles of aristocrats, rock stars, and hanger-ons. When Willie Mae's daughters arrive, they discover that beneath its veneer of decadence, Mustique has a dark side. Like sand caught in the undertow, their mother-daughter story will shift and resettle in ways they never could have imagined. So I love books about the rich and famous. I just find it so intriguing because, I mean, obviously that's so different from my own life. And Princess Margaret, as I said, I really find her to be an interesting person, so I don't know if she's going to be a main character here, but I also love deep dives of familiar relationships. So this one sounds very promising, and I do love the cover, so I'm going to go start this now. I'm going to be ending the vlog here. I read 8 or 9% in Mustique Island, and I am loving everything about this. Could this be the first 5-star of the year? I don't know, but I'm going to be ending the vlog here. I hope y'all have a happy February and had a good end of January going into February, planning out your month. That can only be stressful and just a lot going on. So I hope y'all are having a good time. As always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. If you made it through this whole video, leave a heart emoji in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!